To enable myself to track my Media AS journey through the various stages of research, planning, post-production and editing, I created my own blog online on the website WordPress. Having never written a blog, I found this website extremely useful as it allowed me to access it on any computer, phone and laptop that were at my disposal. It was very convenient as it meant that my work was held in one place where it was organised and saved, meaning I could never lose it. It also saved me from using vast amounts of paper and worksheets, which could easily have got lost and in a muddle, which is not practical when I'm producing a lot of work over a long period of time. A lot of the work I produced was electronically based, which meant I could embed them into my blog instead of printing off screenshots, which would not have been practical. As well as embedded videos, I included screenshots of my work to help aid the blog post visually expressing my creative ideas in a different way which enhanced the presentation of my blog. Having never done media before, I had little experience of using a Mac computer and subsequently the programs that featured on it. At the beginning of the year, I could only just about turn the computer on. This meant I had a lot of learning to do when it came to using the Mac and felt the softwares recommended by the media department would be the most appropriate for my media coursework. Before the filming process, we were asked to produce an animatic which consisted of our storyboarding images edited together as a visual representation of our coursework outcome. To do this, I photographed my storyboard shots using my own camera, an SLR Canon EOS 600D, using an 18-55 lens. To collate the images together, I used the software iMovie, where I applied editing, transitions and text for my titles in order to achieve an accurate account. To upload any video footage in the research, post-production and editing period, I created my own YouTube channel where I later applied the video URLs into my blog posts. This proved very useful as it provided an area where I could store my videos as a backup. I was also able to embed the videos into WordPress to contribute to my blog posts. When it came to filming my opening sequence, I chose to use the same camera I had used to document my animatic, the Canon EOS 600D, which filmed in HD. I felt more comfortable filming on my own camera as I've already had experience using it already, which meant when it came to filming, it was much easier. However, I often use the manual settings on my 18-55mm camera lens, which was a new experience to me, having always used it on automatic. Using my lens on manual meant I was able to achieve some different effects, which made the filming visually more appealing. As well as my own camera, I used my own tripod. My main tripod is a Hammer Alpha 60, which has a rod for free easy use of movement for panning shots. I also use another tripod to achieve different shot types, such as an extreme low-angle shots. This is a GorillaPod, which has flexible legs to arrange to whichever angle I wish. When it came to editing my film, instead of using iMovie, we converted to the program Final Cut, which is a much more complex program in comparison. Final Cut enabled me to cut, edit and modify the raw footage to create one seamless opening sequence. I didn't use many editing transitions in my opening sequence, although on my title Revenge, I chose to use a fade transition to emphasize its importance as a title. Final Cut also enabled me to overlay text onto moving images. I used this technique when I was creating my production card, Treetop Productions. In many of my footage, the diegetic sound of the wind was far too overpowering, so I decreased the sound levels on Final Cut so I could exaggerate and remove certain diegetic sounds from my filming. To produce my first production card, Malcolm Media, I used the software LiveType. I found this a much more challenging program to use, however I managed to get the hang of it, which enabled me to produce a professional piece of typography. LiveType is shown in a timeline format in the same style as Final Cut, which made it easy to visually see my progress, as well as editing transitions and durations of the sequence. The colourful ensemble of letters in Malcolm Media was a pre-prepared feature on LiveType, which I just edited the text to produce my production card. To create the script for Revenge, I used the online software ScriptBuddy, which formatted the script for my opening sequence in a professional manner which could not be created on a typical Word document. This allowed me to create a professional formatted script including stage directions, camera angles and shot types, which I was able to use on my filming days. Having looked through many online sound websites, I chose to create my own accompanying soundtrack on the software GarageBand. As I had previous experience on GarageBand, I felt comfortable using it in comparison to other softwares. Using GarageBand allowed me to tailor the soundtrack exactly to the footage on the screen. As well as this, I didn't have to compromise the sound of the film, as I produced it appropriately for my genre of crime.